But right now, Rev, we got to get into
Yes.
the news.
Yes, indeedy.
Earlier today, the grand jury returned indictments against 5 former Memphis Police Department officers regarding the death of Tyre Nichols. These are the same 5 officers who were previously or recently terminated by the Memphis Police Department. They are currently in custody. They are Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills Jr., and Justin Smith. It's important to note, as Ms. Williams said, that this is still an ongoing investigation, and therefore there are limits on what we can say about this case. We ask for everyone's continued patience as we continue to vigorously seek justice in this case.
All right, folks, as you hear, 5 fired Memphis police officers have been charged on Thursday with the murder and other crimes in the killing of Tyre Nichols, a black motorist who died 3 days after a confrontation with officers during a traffic stop. Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy told the press conference that although the officers each played different roles in the killing, they are all responsible. The officers, who are all black, this is a very important detail, each face charges of second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, and official oppression. Wow. Video of the January 7th traffic stop will be released to the public today. And they're already preparing for it, Rick.
Oh, yeah.
They're preparing for this. They think it's going to be bad because they say that the footage shows the officers, the Nichols families and their lawyers say that the footage shows the officers savagely beating the 29-year-old father and FedEx worker for 3 minutes. Court record. That's
a long time.
It
might not sound like it.
It's a long time when you're getting your behind.
Yes, it is, man.
When the billy clubs are up. Yes, the records do not list attorneys for these men, but they still plan to discuss the charges at the news conference. Now, second-degree murder is punishable by 15 to 60 years in prison under Tennessee law. The attorneys for the Nichols family, Ben Crump, there he goes again.
He gets around.
Yes, he does. I guess he says, look, Johnny Cochran's gone.
This is my shot.
Yeah, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson are out there, so I guess I could just anything civil rights related. They just dragged Ben Crump out there, but hey, if he gets the job done, so be it.
Yeah.
And
what is his record anyway?
I don't even know. His record in front of cameras is impeccable. He's undefeated. Yeah. He's the pound for pound king of getting in front of cameras.
Yeah. I just never heard of him actually winning many cases.
I don't know if he wins. I don't know if he loses, but I know he will be there.
All right.
So, Rev, like watching this beating, like watching this case unfold, it is sort of a test case for America. And one thing I am glad is that a lot of Black America is keeping their foot on the neck of law enforcement about this case. They're not saying, well, because they're black, it's not a big deal. No, they represent, and they're out there marching and protesting about this case just like they would. Now, who you don't see out there, Rev, is the Blue Lives Matter people. Now, yes, the Blue Lives Matter people who are always, he should have just complied. Who always defend the police no matter what. They are silent when it comes to defending black cops.
Now, I wonder, what role does the police union play in this? Because normally, and maybe in Memphis the union isn't that strong, but I read an article this week from Reason.com talking about one of the big problems with disciplining police or with catching problems when they're small, before they can get to this level, is the union.
Right. And that's, a lot of people don't know this, but the police, there was actually stories about this some years ago when the whole NFL domestic violence thing was coming out, and the media was making it seem like all black NFL players were all wife beaters. They actually found out that the police have 2 to 4 times the domestic violence rate of the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of cops, and I'm gonna be real. I've known some cops in my life, and most of them beat their wives. I'm just being real. I'm not saying all y'all do or most of y'all do. I'm just saying like I've known
a lot of them do.
Yeah, I've known some abusive cops, and I mean, like here's the thing. I'm not abolish the police guy. I know I'm on the left. People, and a lot of people on the left are abolish the police. On some level, I understand. Like, look, soldiers who are fighting in Iraq, they are at war away from their families for some years, and then they come back home and the war is technically over.
Right.
Whereas the police are getting shot at or shooting at people every day, and then they're going home to their families, and then they're going out and getting shot at again the next day, and then they're going home to their families. There is no time. The war never ends with the police. So they might get shot at today, go home and have to live with the fact, man, I could have lost my life if it wasn't for my bulletproof vest. And then the next day have to, try to dismantle a bomb or have to deal with a hostage situation. So they're being traumatized over and over and over and over and over again for 10, 15, 20 years at a time. So I'm not somebody who just, like I said, I'm not somebody on the left who just hates the police and just thinks we should get rid of all policing. That doesn't make much sense to me. The working class will never go along with that anyway, and I view cops as working class people. I know a lot of people on the left also don't view cops as working class people.
Which is weird to me.
Where do you think they come from? Like, they come from the same neighborhoods as the rest of us.
Yeah. And the reality is, let's say, for the sake of conversation, let's say that the evolution of the economic structure of this country were to do what Karl Marx suggested it should do. There's never been the suggestion anywhere, not from Marx, not from Lenin, not from Stalin, not from Mao, not from anybody, that at some point you no longer need the police.
Yeah, the KGB was deep up in the Soviet Union.
Yes, they were.
And Castro has his police.
Yes, he does.
Venezuela and everybody else. I don't care how China's a communist country. They got cops. So you're not getting rid of the police. Nobody would ever support that. It's one of the most frustrating things as a person on the left when I hear people say all cops are bastards, or they say we're going to abolish the police. I go, oh my God, all you're doing is alienating the people, because nobody in their right mind is going to go along with that. Let's just talk about defunding. Like, let's talk about not sending them out there with military grade weapons to arrest people who stole a loaf of bread. Let's talk about that instead.
Yeah. More reasonable conversation.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, here's one of the things, and I thought about this just on my own, just thinking about it. Like you said, these guys are under stress daily. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how they decompress. I do know that I've read articles that suggest that it's often viewed within the force to be a bad thing to say, hey, look, I need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm getting stressed. I need to be able to decompress this.
Right.
And, the old, oh, no, you'll be fine. Just shake it off. Well, no.
You can't shake off everything.
No.
Right. And Memphis is one of the most violent cities in America. So I'm not giving these guys an excuse. Obviously, they need to be in jail. Yeah. I feel the same way about them that I felt about, Derek Chauvin or from the guy who killed Mike Brown or anybody else. So it's not about it. To me, I'm not gonna say that, oh no, I can't. I'm gonna defend these guys. No, I'm not gonna defend them. Like they know the job. They had the training. They should have done their job. But that being said, like I said, we do need to change policing. And I remember when we've covered police cases like this before, we found out that America's police are nowhere near as trained as people in other countries. Yeah, like American police only have to be trained for 500 hours and have a high school diploma. That's it.
Yeah.
All you got to do is have a high school diploma and 500 hours of training, and you can be a cop. Whereas in Canada, it's actually 1,000 hours. And if I'm not mistaken, you have to have some sort of college or something. Like, they don't just let you become a cop. And in other Western, I want to say Denmark or Sweden, because it's been about a year or two since I've looked this up. They actually have to go to college for 3 years, and they have to train for 5,000 hours, so 10 times as long as American police do before they get to be cops. And so a lot of it is, if anything, I think police need to be I would say, like, what we need to do, we need to pay them more. We need to make cop a more glorious, I don't want to say glorious, but glorified job where the people who go to college want to be cops, as opposed to hiring Jethro and Man and Pookie as cops. It's not. I don't think I'm being necessarily elitist or classist here, but I'm saying, like, we need to hire people who are smart people, who are more nuanced individuals, rather than, you know, people who are more likely to be ignorant, have certain biases, and, you know, carry a certain amount of well, I guess ignorance. I guess.
You know, I look at it like this. It's the difference between, in the military, somebody being an infantryman and somebody being special forces.
Right.
There's a greater variety of skill sets that are needed to be a police officer.
Right.
It's not just go in, you know, shoot bad guy, go home.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that police officers are asked to do that don't involve. Matter of fact, it's possible to have an entire police career where you've never fired your gun other than at the range once a year. It is eminently possible for that to happen. Not just remotely, but eminently possible to have that. So, but you're still every day having to deal with interpersonal issues or intrapersonal issues, because you're having to deal with people who are under various stressful situations. You're having to deal with people who for whatever reason want the law to bend, if not break, for them, and then you happen to catch them in the midst of bending the law. You know, I saw a video my wife was looking at one day. This lady had been texting, and the cop was sitting there right beside her in the next lane.
Oh. Well, she busted, right?
She just busted cold.
Yeah, cold busted.
And when he explains to her, and she's throwing everything up against the wall, hoping something will stick as to why, you know, he should just walk away and let her go on her merry way. Yeah. So they have to put up with this stuff. Yeah. And, you know, I don't know how much cops get paid. I haven't looked into that. But I can even remember when I got out of the Air Force and my father suggested to me, well, why don't you, you know, apply for the Gary Police Department? I was like, no, I did 4 years of, you know, working graveyard shift. I am not doing another. I am not getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning for anybody else. No more.
Right.
It's not the sort of job that everybody just flocks to.
Right. And for me, I think we need higher quality people. We need less police, I think, but higher quality individuals who are paid more money. So instead of just throwing out anybody who's willing to go through 500, we need to seek out individuals who are smart, who are educated, who have something going for themselves, while at the same time, you know, paying them a worthy salary for somebody who has something going for them. So, you know, like, I think a lot of the police's work is probably made harder by fellow cops who are just not that good at their jobs. So having corrupt and ignorant and, you know, racist and sort of corrupt individuals as your coworkers probably makes it harder. So I think if we sort of streamline the process on some level, paid very qualified people a higher salary, while letting go a large percentage of the people who are just Jethro and T-Bone and people like that. I think we could make some inroads in terms of fixing policing in America. But until we do that, we will continue to have these types of issues. And, you know, I really think that hopefully justice is meted out in this case, because I wouldn't want to see Memphis, Tennessee, like I said, a very, very black city. As you talk, I don't know if we talked about this on the air or if this was before we went on the air. The mayor was black. I think the police chief was a black woman. If I'm not mistaken, the police chief was a black woman, or one of the very prominent individuals were black. Like, Memphis is a very black city.
Yeah.
And, you know, these cities can't keep getting burned down every few years. I mean, it's hard enough as it is. So hopefully we can get that resolved.
Yeah.
But, hey, what do you guys think? Give us a call, 219-885-1371. We got to go to a break. We'll be right back after this.
You are listening to Scott and the Rev on WLTH 1370 AM. Give us a call, 219-885-1371.
Questions about